All right.
We
So you still
live
waiting
on
on YouTube, right?
we good on YouTube now. What's popping, everybody?
You on YouTube?
Pop up on
Yeah,
All
that.
right,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. We just got it going
Everybody,
through.
what's up? We live on. Um, I still don't see it on YouTube,
Sure.
but we're live on both YouTube and on
Instagram.
Instagram. So we're gonna try to hold both down today. So I guess also everybody else, gives more of opportunity for everybody to comment and all that. So we'll
Facts.
be looking
Yeah,
at the
man.
comments.
Looking at both
We'll be looking at the
comments.
comments.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
we're looking at both. And so and if y'all can't hear us or have any problems, whatever, just let us know. Um,
Word.
and I'm here myself. This I don't know why. But,
Let me move
hold
this.
on.
Oh, that's
Okay, good to go. All right,
Yeah, no.
so today is Monday. I know we usually get things done on a Sunday, but a lot been going on. So we got a Monday
Mhm.
episode for everybody. We're gonna try to make it quick. Before we hop into the serious business, though, let's talk about the playoffs real quick. Claiborne, I'm gonna feature again. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to read at the same time. But before we
Oh,
read, let's talk
Claymore.
about the playoffs. Let's talk about the
Oh,
playoffs first.
oh, oh.
you got a feature
So the
request.
Knicks
Feature
is
request in the
playing.
comments.
I know, right?
Yeah,
But
word.
so as far as the Knicks, so what's up? Did they win, lose? Is the game still on? What's going on,
Game's still going
Clay?
on right now. The score is 101-95. Heat with 3:27 left. And
Right.
Julius Randle, I hate you, respectfully.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for the Knicks. I was kind of hoping that they made it through, but
And
still
Lennox,
got,
the YouTube is on the Pop Up TV Instagram. You can find us on YouTube there, or just search up Pop Up TV podcast if y'all trying to watch it on YouTube,
Yes,
and
sir.
you'll see the live link.
yes,
Just wanted to let that out
facts,
right there.
facts.
My fault.
Right. So like we were saying, hoping that the Knicks win. I don't know what's the score though. What's the score? Like live right now.
102.95.
102.95. Oh, well, that's not great. And how much time left? I know it's the fourth.
3 minutes left in the fourth.
Okay. All right. Well, still go Knicks. Speaking of which, I was gonna ask y'all, what do y'all see for the playoffs right now? Like, what is y'all's not only like your prediction, but what are your hopes? Like, who do you hope to see in the finals, or even who you hope to see
Hey, you know
win
me. I'm
these
going
rounds?
with Lakers all
LBJ,
day.
LBJ. Let me ask you this. Right? Are you one of those people where you're like you're a fan of whatever team LeBron James goes to?
Yeah, pretty much until he retires.
Pretty much. Come on,
Until
don't
he
lie, don't lie, don't lie.
until until
Yes,
until
his
Le-
answer is yes.
until LeBron retires. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's cool. I feel like
But you know
that's a
what?
lot of
You know what?
people.
I'll
You know,
I'll I'll go
Respectful.
for other teams as well. But like I do like wish for LeBron's success. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
What it do? What it do? My
Yeah, I think
guy.
it's cool though. There's a lot of people that have the attitude, but I respect the people that at least admit it and they're like, yeah, whatever team he goes to is the team that I'm rooting for. So, um, but yeah, man, I got to tell you, like this year, I'm really hoping that I think I'm hoping for it to be LeBron too. To be honest, I'm not feeling the Warriors this year either. I still, they're my team always over the Lakers, just
Hmm.
because I love them more as a team and as like a unit. Um, and I don't know. I think Draymond's one of the best like defensive players right now. So
But I thought you was about to
that
say
too.
best
But
players. I thought you was about to say best players.
nah.
I was about to
I'm
be
not
like,
gonna take
damn.
it that far. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's a great player, but he's definitely one of the best defensive players for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the
agreed.
aggressive game in my opinion, but yeah, man, I don't really want the Warriors to get it this year though. I feel like if LeBron could get it, that'd be pretty cool. What about you, Clay? Who you going for?
Respectfully, honestly, either or for me, Lakers or Warriors, whoever takes it for me, I think I'd be satisfied. As much as I want the Knicks to go far, but I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as
Hmm.
who I think will go the furthest, and I want to go the furthest, definitely between them two. And it's interesting with that topic. We were just talking about that over on Facts and Stats with my boy Rob. That they were saying that if Steph just so happens to beat the Lakers, especially with the way they're down in the series right now, a
Hmm.
lot of people are gonna arguably start to put Steph Curry over LeBron in some ways. You know what I'm
You
saying?
think
In terms
so?
of like
I mean, I don't think
all around
LeBron
players.
fans
Yeah.
not gonna do that, but
I
I think
I know
like
LeBron fans are not
definitely,
gonna do that, but I'm saying like in
yeah.
terms of the journalists and the people who actually debate like what's right and what's wrong, because you know what I'm saying, like the records that he's broken, the fact that he's changed the game, and the fact that he's doing all this on one team at that. You know what I'm saying? And him
Right.
getting a fifth ring, he'd have more rings than LeBron. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen. But here, once all that chatter started, LeBron let the demon out. So I don't think he's going to let that happen.
You know, I did see a lot of people say that about Steph, and I know you said LeBron fans ain't gonna let that slide. They definitely not. But like the only reason, I mean, it's just different. I mean, Steph, yeah, he definitely would catapult himself in the top five. But yeah, it's definitely an argument. You can argue it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like it's definitely an argument. I can't cap about that. You know what I mean? So, hey, I always said Steph is in my top five. I don't care what nobody say. Like Steph is in my top five already. Yeah, he's in my top five. Agreed. Don't ask me the number of like who, because I don't even know who I'm gonna take out
of all time.
Yeah, he's in my top
of
five
all time or right now.
Yeah, he's all time right now for me.
Okay, I mean he's definitely my top 10. I would have to think hard about top five, but
yeah, he already my top five. Man.
But yeah, I can understand, bro. The other night, what he do the other night? He did like what? How much did he do the other night when they won? It was like 30. He did or something.
It was that game seven. Game seven,
like 50 or something, right?
And he had 50. Yeah,
and
first player to ever do that.
And remember, I guarantee Steph is kind of cut from the same cloth as LeBron when it comes to taking care of his body. So I guarantee he's only like 34 right now, maybe. Like when he's about LeBron's age, he's still gonna be cooking. So that's where I can understand where people say, oh, you know what I'm saying, you can start having a conversation on like whose career is better, LeBron or Steph, you know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee once Steph hits like 38, 39, he's still gonna be like he's gonna be on some LeBron level type stuff even past when LeBron retires. Sure. I'm Curry all the way. Y'all chatting. Yeah, hey, I cannot cap on Curry, bro. I can't cap on Curry.
You can't cap on Curry. Respect.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I would say they top two. I would say right now for me, him and LeBron is top two in the NBA right now. You know what I'm saying? As far as all around players there, for sure. So, you know, that's why in the end, man, like I think, you know, honestly speaking, this series between them hasn't been as exciting as I wanted it to be, or you know what I mean. It hasn't been.
Lennox said he Curry all the way. Respect.
Ace Alexander in the chat said difference. You was about to read the difference with Curry rings and LeBron rings is he been the MVP each time. Yeah, and Steph been cheated out of MVP a lot of times. I ain't gonna cap. He been cheated out of MVP a few different times.
Yeah.
How many times did he win it?
I think Steph only got one.
Oh, okay.
And LeBron got
like what?
Yeah, he got all four. All four times he won championship. He won MVP.
Yeah.
Wow. So speaking of LeBron, let's talk about Bronny, man. LeBron James Jr. on his way to the NBA, but unlike his father, he will be going to college. He's going to be stepping foot in some college halls. So what y'all think about him choosing the Trojans? He's going to USC. What y'all think about that?
I think that's dope. I think it's dope. He's going to be playing down the street from the Staples. It's still the Staples Center, right? Yeah, the Staples Center.
No, Crypto.com.
Crypto, my bad. Crypto Center.
Word.
It's down the street from the Crypto Center. So, you know what I'm saying, is, you know, Lakers town and USC town. And let's just hope Bronny James actually shows, you know, what he can do and gets the chance to show what he can do, because that's definitely going to be exciting, man. Like I feel like this may be one of the most hype college athletes coming from high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, you got Zion and a few other ones, but because Bronny James is LeBron's son, he got so much hype attached to him. The NIL deals is crazy right now. Like, bro, going to college making about $5.3 million in NIL deals. You know what I'm saying? So,
what exactly is an NIL deal? Like, do they get that money? That's like the money they get to spend right now.
That's the money they make off of their name, image, and likeness. So he can do. He's probably already signed with Nike. He's probably already got mad different deals and stuff like that. So,
and I seen Shorty from LSU just signed the Ill one too. I think for a couple mil.
She's making dumb bread too. So
that's crazy.
So
these kids are like millionaires now before they even get to the NBA, bro.
For sure, a lot of them, and a lot of them. And you're gonna see his face all over way before he even hits the NBA. So that's why I said the most hype high school to college athlete in a while, because when if Zion had this chance, if he had the chance to get the NIL deals, he would have got it in high school, but he didn't get a chance because it wasn't around that time. So now Bronny James got it. He gonna be all over. You gonna see his face everywhere.
Everywhere for sure. Yeah.
He's
Clay,
already in like
how
the
much
Fast
years?
10 commercials.
He's in what?
How much years do you think
He's
he
in
does
the Fast 10
college?
commercials. My fault, Jay. You said how many
Oh,
years
sorry.
I think he will do?
Yeah.
I honestly don't see him doing more than one. If he does 2 or 3, I'd be impressed. If he does the full 4, especially if he's not, if he knows developmental wise, he's not where he should be to live up to what's expected.
Expectation.
You know what I'm saying? Then he should do the full 4 years and really take advantage, because if it's one thing to learn about, it doesn't matter how great players are. Very, very small percentage of these players nowadays, I would say within the last 10, close to 15 years, only a very small percentage of these players are coming out and actually being like, living up to their name and actually showing some type of potential right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? It's not like where it used to be, where when we were growing up and it was like 2006, 2007, and there was always 10 to 15 players that was coming out of college that you like, yo, watch out for this one. He ain't going to the draft this year, but when he goes to the draft and he ready, he's gonna put up numbers, and most of the time people will do their numbers. So but the one thing I will say though, to end it off, is that if he does good, it's only gonna make me that much more excited to see when Bryce James comes into the picture, because I think he's the superstar. I think he's gonna live up to his father's expectations, if not better, in a different way. That man is that young man is a fucking problem. Excuse my language.
No problem. Yeah. I've seen some of his videos too. He definitely. So how old is he? He's like what, 17 or so?
Nah,
there?
I think
like
he's
16, 17.
Yeah, I think he's about 15, 16 still. 15, if
15,
not just turned
16?
16. Yeah. He got a few
Yeah,
more
he
years.
young. He definitely young though.
But I could see Bronny doing 1 year mainly off of the strength of like LeBron. Like, cause you know what I'm saying? I feel like Bronny, he could be a good college basketball player. The thing is, you know what I'm saying, he made like NBA right away. Normally, if he wasn't LeBron's son, maybe not. He can use a few years in college. But he's LeBron's son. LeBron gonna, you know what I'm saying? Not even LeBron. Like, because people be like making it seem like LeBron's gonna go to everybody like, hey, y'all better put my. Nah, it's gonna be like, oh, this LeBron's son is gonna look good for the NBA regardless. You know what I'm saying? So he may get it on a team off the strength of that. You know what I'm saying?
He's not gonna get on a team.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make sure that he gets on the team with LeBron, because they want to be the first father-son duo to do that. So I think they're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, that's why I don't picture him doing more than a year, 2 years at max. I don't see him doing more than 2 years at most, because I'm sure that he definitely wants to go play with his pops. But yeah, man, we're gonna keep looking at what happens in the playoffs and what happens with Bronny and the rest of the James family. Because, like you said, I think it'll be more interesting to even see what Bryce does. I think honestly too, like Clay said, I think Bryce is more likable. I think he has more of like a, I don't know, like a more like a marketable kind of character for some reason.
Bryce.
Bryce for some reason.
Size, man is like 6'6", 6'5", and he's only 16.
Yeah, like a growth spurt. Yeah,
crazy growth spurt.
Yeah, man. Moving on, let's talk about this TikTok situation. So we got this kid. Shout out to anybody that's on the Instagram chat. Also, Dom, remember, I can't see the YouTube chat right now. So if anybody saw,
got you. Lennox popped in.
I saw Lennox pop up in there. Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that's in there.
It's my young boy.
Yeah. All right. So Mason Dark is a teenager, 16-year-old kid. He accidentally, I guess not so accidentally, burned 80% of his body after doing a TikTok challenge, some sort of challenge involving a lighter and spray paint. I'm assuming you take the spray paint and you spray it over the flame from the lighter. I don't know to do what, but
like a little
that's what he did. And
like that.
Yeah, I guess something like that. I didn't see it, so I'm not gonna, you know what I mean. But from what I looked up, that's all they were really saying about it. 80% of his body has been burnt. He's laying in the hospital right now. Luckily for him, he was with some friends when he did when he was in the middle of this TikTok challenge, who called the ambulance immediately, which is basically what saved his life. A GoFundMe, interestingly, was raised. The goal is $100,000, and right now they've reached 61,000. So I guess that's
Damn.
doing pretty well. So knowing that information, let me ask y'all this, and this also obviously goes to anybody else in the chat. What do y'all think? Is this more, starting with Clay? Is this more a TikTok culture kind of thing, or do you individually blame this kind of kid? Because I mean, keep in mind, it's not every day that we see, not literally every day that we see these TikTok challenges go this terribly wrong. So this kid almost lost his life and lost 80% of his skin. So who would you say is more at blame here?
Honestly, wherever. Well, I mean, it says here that I guess they were by a river. I mean, I'm assuming they weren't at anyone's house where there was an adult nearby. So I would have to blame the kid. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, you see videos of people using a lighter and the spray can all the time, and it looks like, you know, simple. You spray, there's flame. You stop spraying, there's no flame. And I mean, I'm gonna speak from experience. I'm a kid who I've tried it. You know what I'm saying? I've tried it successfully. Luckily, I've never been in this situation.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? But because to know that him just doing that, it caused the can to explode. Like, that's crazy. I never would have thought of something like that happening. So it is very silly of him. But you know, I don't know. I don't know whether to blame the culture or just curiosity. It could be a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Especially because, you know, nowadays, you know, we're always doing things for cloud, always doing things for attention. I mean, he was posting it on TikTok. I had no idea this was even going viral on TikTok. This is the first I'm hearing about
Somebody
it.
But like
just
he
said,
said,
but
yeah, my bad. So that kid was trying to create a trend and hurt himself in the process. Yeah, so I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe he was trying to create this trend, or it was something that was already done, or he was trying to start it up. I know his mom said he was trying to go viral and stuff for a while. But I guess like what I was saying to Clay before we get to Don, like his mom and other people were saying that if not for TikTok and this culture of doing all these challenges and trying to compete to be the coolest person on the internet and you know, gain fame, things like this
right.
wouldn't happen at all, or kids like him wouldn't be experimenting with fire and chemicals and stuff. So, so Don, what you think? Do you
yeah.
think?
So, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
What you was gonna say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. So just like Rachel said in the chat, I blame both. So she blames both the kid and, you know, the TikTok culture. Leger said just kids doing things they shouldn't. To be honest, these challenges have been happening for years, and although I agree with that, I feel like TikTok culture kind of put it a little more over the edge than it normally would be. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, kids was doing it, the little flamethrower thing, you know, a while back. Like Clay said, he messed around and did it, but I'm sure you ain't put a camera up and, you know what I'm saying, in your head you're like, yeah, I gotta get this done. Something fire gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you probably went,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine he probably tried it a
all
couple
right.
of times.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. You probably,
Right.
like, the kid probably tried to do it. He probably wanted the biggest flame, not just the small little flame. You know what I'm saying? And it backfired on him. So it's kind of like I said, like people doing dangerous things for clout or attention. I can understand. Like, I'm not completely against people doing things for attention on social media, because, you know, that's kind of what social media is for. People are going to put things on there for attention. Like, there's nothing, you can't get around that. You know what I'm saying? But doing like things that will, you know, get yourself hurt, or doing stupid things and violent things,
right,
or things like that for attention and clout, that's where it gets,
Word.
you know, dumb and ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
right, man. So like, yeah, but you know, and it's, I agree. I guess yeah, I agree with what you're saying. But you know, I do think that to a level, kids shouldn't be at a certain age. You should be smart enough to know the things that put you in immediate danger,
Yeah.
whether it be for the internet or not. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely that culture. And like you said, everyone's trying to get that shot. He probably did it more than once and trying to get the biggest flame. So my next question, though, before we close it out, to you, because you have kids, and Clay, you work with kids, and anybody else that has or works with kids in the chat, when you're with kids, do you guys, and they bring up TikTok and stuff, do you ever talk to them about I don't know, I feel like saying dangers of TikTok sounds kind of extreme, but like the negative side of TikTok and what to do and not do? Do you ever mention that, or do you just assume for the most part that they're gonna do the right thing?
I mean, honestly, I don't necessarily them talk about it too much. Like, I would say more often than occasionally, but not too often, if that makes sense. But the times when
But they're
they
on it, right?
do, they're on it for sure. As far as them being on it and making videos, I don't know anything about it, especially not the ones I'm working with now. But the only time
Right.
I've ever seen like younger individuals that I would consider kids, but they were probably like teenagers, probably like anywhere between
Right.
the age of like 13 and maybe 15. They're making their little TikTok, but they're just like doing a dance. They weren't doing anything silly. They were just doing a dance to a song, and none of the dance moves they were doing seemed inappropriate. So I was just like, all right, even though you guys shouldn't be doing this, I'm gonna let it rock because you guys are doing something innocent in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But then
Right.
when I got kids, coming in and they're making inappropriate noises, let's just say, because they are learning it from TikTok, then that's when I gotta let them know, like, hey, like, I don't know how you learned to make that noise, but just know that that noise is not okay. You know what I mean? And just kind of like
Got
nip things in the bud, so to speak. Because, I mean, I feel like it's so much to talk about with the dangers of TikTok, because then you're just gonna end up going into a discussion about the dangers of social media in general. You know what I mean? And I feel like parents nowadays, even though I have my criticism on that whole topic and parents and kids nowadays, the one thing I will say is when it comes to social media, just from the parents that I've seen, they don't take social media lightly. Like, they don't allow their kids to use social media as often as they want to. Like I said, at least the kids that I'm around, you know what I'm saying? So
it.
that's why I don't really feel like I have to really enforce it too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. It's
Right.
funny you say that because I keep my kids away from like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all those
Completely.
things. Yeah, I keep them completely away from it. I rather them, watch normal YouTube videos and stuff like that. So if I see them like mindlessly just start scrolling through shorts and stuff like that, I'll be like, nah, don't watch that because you know what I'm saying, it's so fast and all this information that they can get in just a quick second is, you know what I'm saying. I'd rather them get on a YouTube video and watch YouTube normally.
Right.
Yeah, for real, for real. Do you go as far ever as to like use like I guess like YouTube probably has like parental controls or something. I don't know. Does
Yeah,
it?
I use parental controls, um, and I have them go on a specific like account, and that account
Okay.
has only kid
Gotcha.
stuff on it and things like that. And I was actually looking up a way to take away actual YouTube Shorts. I'm still trying to figure it out. I know there's a way where you could take it off of your thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I go that route,
Got
like,
you.
cause
Got
like I already know, man. Like I don't see, I don't, I don't see the benefit too much of the short form content, especially for the youths. You know what I'm saying? I'd
Yeah.
rather them go to the normal YouTube long form content. Bring back the vlog
No,
days. You feel
I
me? Like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though
I feel that
I ain't gonna cap.
word.
I benefit off of it. It's kind of like a hypocritical situation, but hey,
you.
life is
Yeah.
life. It's just you do what you got to do.
Right.
Right. But I mean, still, like, I feel like, just because you benefit off of something don't necessarily mean you got to expose your kids to it
Yeah,
until they're
exactly.
like of an age where they could kind of, uh, you know, sort things out themselves and know right from wrong. And because the internet
Right.
is crazy, bro, it's crazy, like
Exactly.
super crazy. Um, Even as policed as it is these days and as like controlled, it's still very crazy.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, shout out to Mason Dark. I hope, obviously his life and body is never going to be the same, but
Sheesh.
I hope that he's obviously learned some sort of lesson from this. Um,
Yo,
there was another
my
kid that
son is
got
son.
injured a couple like weeks or a couple months ago. This kid was like a white kid. So I forgot what he did, but he ended up in a body cast in the hospital too.
Mm.
And when they interviewed him, he said he'd do it again, and that when he was
I
healed up, he'd
seen
jump
that.
right back into.
I
Yeah,
forgot what happened
so
to him. I think he got shot, man. I think
yeah,
he got
that's what it
shot.
was. He got
Yeah.
shot. Yeah, he was
Mm-hmm.
like messing with some dude, and some dude shot him. Yeah, that's what it was. Which is crazy, crazy that you would
Yeah,
experience
I
that
did
and
see
still
that,
be
and he
like
got
on
shot,
top.
and he's
But
like, "Yeah, I'll do it again." You gonna get shot again? I think he did something like,
shout out to these kids.
yeah, he did
Man. Shout out
something
to these kids.
ridiculous. He did something ridiculous,
Crazy, man.
like prank wise.
He had some dumb prank and some dude shot him. Yeah. OPP. I don't know what that means. Wagwan. Everybody, what else? All right. So let's talk about COVID, man. Let's talk about COVID or the lack thereof. COVID has officially been considered no longer a global health emergency. So wow, man, I was thinking, I saw that today, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I remember when COVID was like so fresh that it was like scary, like people,
Yeah,
which obviously people are still dying from it and stuff, but seeing the news every day and like seeing those numbers, it was like the closest to feeling like, yo, this might be the end for real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. We was all thinking that for
Um,
real.
for
Uh-huh.
real, for real.
For a little bit.
For a little bit. So what do y'all think? Like, so Clay, what do you think? Do you do it's for you and how like you go about your daily life and what you see every day? Is COVID over, or is this you still feel like it's a little too soon?
It it ain't over, man, because obviously y'all know my job, man. I just had a kid who tested positive for COVID 2 weeks ago. Came
Wow.
back last week, even though he was cleared. You know what I'm saying? He was around us with just the mask. He was around us with a mask on until he was like 100%, and
Yeah.
then finally was able to take the mask off. And then I start this week, today Monday. I got a kid that didn't come in because he might be positive. So no, this thing has not stopped. This thing is definitely still going on. I mean, it might not necessarily be a global issue in terms of like the numbers, the statistics, or whatever it shows, but in terms of
Right.
its presence, it's still here, and definitely people got to be mindful. And that's why I try not to judge, or I don't judge anybody if I see them in public and they're still wearing their mask. You know what I'm saying? The select few that still do, I don't blame
You
them
wear
at
a
all.
mask?
You
You
know what
wear
I'm
a mask
saying?
still? Or
Only
no?
when I go to the doctor's office, to be honest. I mean, because I got the first couple shots, I feel pretty confident in my immune system. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't been wearing a mask unless I really need to. And knock
Right.
on wood, I haven't gotten sick this winter really. Um, so
Facts.
yeah.
What about you, Don? COVID's over for you, or you think we still in the heat?
So with COVID, so it's not. I don't think it's like over. Like Clay said, people still getting it. Do I think it's gonna be? It's as bad as it was originally? Nah, I don't think it's gonna get back to that. And honestly, I feel like throughout what it's been like 4 years, 2019, 20, yeah, it's been almost 4 years.
About 3 years.
Well, it started at the end of 2019, and
Yeah, it's like 3, 4 years.
you know what I'm saying. So let's call it 3 years. It's been about 3 years since COVID
Or
really started and people was hitting. I believe that all of us, whether we knew it or not, probably got like some form of COVID. You know what I mean, like, but maybe not bad, and probably didn't know we had it. It was in our system, and our immune systems probably got a little used to it or whatever. So if we do get it, it's not gonna be as deadly as it was before. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
yeah, I think that COVID is still around. It's still gonna be around for years to come. It's just it's not gonna be
It's
like a
not as crazy.
pandemic like how we
Yeah.
had it. Like our people's bodies weren't even used to nothing like that at the time. You know what I'm saying? So as soon
Right.
as it hit some
Right.
people, it was knocked. Took them out. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Do you think, as far as like like you said, it's been like 3, 4 years or whatever. What do you think that lasting effect, if any, COVID has, positive or negative, maybe even both, that COVID has had on the world, or like what kind of mark has it you think it's left? Because for me personally, I feel like, I think it's only been bad because on top of all the people that we unfortunately lost, I feel like the price of everything skyrocketed during the pandemic and has not, like they're telling us COVID is over, but the negative effects of it, where it's kind of like it was some kind of weird atomic bomb or something. Like the damage is done, but there's still these weird after effects that we're dealing with every day. People still not really getting jobs. Obviously, a lot of people are like working from home now, which I
yeah,
guess is a better situation for some people. But yeah, man, I just feel like it just, it came in, it went, and it just took. It didn't give. It didn't. It didn't give anything. You know what I'm saying? What about you, Clay? What you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. It didn't really give too much. Just just kind of just if anything, it put more fear in people around the world, and definitely gave more more anxiety in individuals, definitely in the elderly and
Hmm.
those who are immune compromised. So so yeah, like I said, definitely wear your mask if you have to. It ain't over. This is definitely just another one of those things we're gonna have to just learn how to live with moving forward, which is kind of what we assumed it would be.
Yeah, it's true. What I the
Right,
way I think
right,
about it is, I the way I feel like in the future maybe, or the way I'm gonna at least put it, is pre-COVID and post-COVID. So like Rachel said, I
right.
haven't wore a mask in so long, but I pray it doesn't get back to how crazy it was. Yeah, I don't think
Or
people are
Right.
going to go back to wearing masks, but we're
right,
never gonna forget the effects of COVID, and I don't think like the effects of COVID is ever gonna leave. So there's a lot of people who
yeah,
like was working from home, like, that was working at their job, and because of COVID they went home to work, and now they're working from home fully. You know what I'm saying? A lot of jobs like
Right.
kind of um took that thing and was like, you know what, let's just have them work from home fully. Walmart hasn't even changed back to 24 hours after COVID. I realized that the other day. I'm like, yo, why ain't no 24-hour Walmart? I could have swore it used to be 24 hours. I'm like, yeah, COVID
most
stopped
Dunk,
that.
most Dunkin' Donuts ain't 24 hours either.
Yeah, yeah.
That's only a
COVID,
select few.
COVID stopped
Mhm.
Walmart being 24 hours. They said they're not going back to 24 hours. They're gonna stay closing at what, 11 or 12, whatever it is. So
Right,
there's a lot of things that COVID changed, and they haven't changed back.
facts.
Not necessarily because people getting sick. It's just, I don't know, they got used to the change or whatever it was, and maybe they don't want to have people in close environments for a long amount of time. I don't know, but there's a lot of things that changed
Yeah.
because of COVID that have not changed back since.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sucks. And I think, like I said, it didn't really give anything. It just took a lot of stuff. And
Facts.
also it kind of it divided us a lot because, not only people's opinions on the virus itself, but obviously the treatment, the vaccines
right.
and stuff.
Hmm.
That
And then
divided
it
a
had
lot of
this whole
people.
political angle to it too, which divided more people. And I don't know. It's just this terrible thing that's like, it's crazy that they're just saying that it's, technically it's over now, that it's not really an epidemic or it's not a crazy emergency, but
True,
we're
true.
still kind of feeling these super negative effects of it.
Facts. And think about
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
too. The rise of TikTok was because of COVID. You know what I'm
yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Because
of a lot
everybody
of
was home.
businesses,
saying?
a lot of
And,
businesses rose and a lot of businesses failed too. A lot of
yeah.
businesses died. It was a strange turning point. Um, Definitely not gonna forget COVID, but yeah. So we're gonna know. I guess it's not considered an emergency anymore. But like we said, we hope that it doesn't get back to wearing masks and all of that because it's been a
Facts,
while
facts.
since most of us had to do that.
Exactly.
Word.
Man, moving on. Unfortunately, we got to talk about something that's a weekly, bi-weekly thing. Um, Another mass shooting occurred. This time, and I believe it's Allen, Texas, at a shopping mall. I believe it was like a shopping mall slash kind of like an outlet mall kind of situation. Um, so I when this happened, obviously I saw like the coverage of it live, but I wasn't really trying to pay attention to it because I knew he's probably gonna end up talking about it anyway. So I kind of waited until today to look up most of the information. And boy, man, this stuff is getting more and more sad, bro. It's crazy. So just some of the facts on this: the shooter was obviously killed. I believe his name was something Garcia. They're saying he might have had ties to like Nazi situations. He was obviously mentally ill as well. For a couple weeks, he had been putting up posts and signs about it. But more importantly, the victims, there's 8 people that are dead, 7 people wounded. Out of this, just so everyone knows, out of this, a fourth grader is a victim, a
Oh my
second grader
gosh.
is a victim, and there's also a 3-year-old child who was a victim. He was with his mother and his father. They were a young Asian couple.
Was
They
he
have another child who fortunately
was he purposely going for children?
wasn't there. I don't think purposely. I think he obviously just was situation where whoever was in his eye line, I guess, or whoever's in the way when he started.
That's
It was
wicked,
just
man.
terrible, man. It's getting crazy.
That's wicked. That's wicked.
So definitely rest in peace to those people. Probably this terrible, terrible way to go, man. It's like shopping with your family should not be end that way.
Exactly, man.
So what do you guys think about the situation? Do you guys think that this will ever end? Do you guys think we're ever going to be safe from this, or that what would be, once again, what is the way to stop this?
It's crazy. We just here talking about we was just talking about COVID, and I'm thinking like, yo, this wasn't going on around COVID time. I think it slowed down. All these mass shootings, obviously, because nobody was out. There wasn't much mass shooting. I remember them talking about that. Like,
yeah, that was that was a positive thing, because all the crazy people was forced to. Not saying everybody's crazy people, mentally ill people. All the people who were violently mentally ill were forced to stay inside. So
I think that's the only solution, man, because clearly, what I'm saying, they're not gonna do nothing about the guns, man. Like, it's over with that. They're not gonna do nothing, and it's like really not much that honestly we can do.
But you want to know what's so crazy is not too long ago, either a week or two ago, Texas just passed a bill that allowed all their schools to have armed security. And then it's like, now they got to look at each other and be like, well, what about the malls? Like, that's crazy. And then I pulled up a statistic here in the article that says that since this shooting, well, a little bit over since this shooting, but within the first 5 months of this year, there's been more than 200 shootings alone.
Like 200 something, bro.
200 mass shootings in this country alone in the last 5 months since January of 2023. That is asinine.
Wait, what kind of shootings we talking about? Like mass shootings?
I don't think all mass shootings. So some of these involve like even kids just bringing like some hood shit, like a shooter bringing a gun to school and shooting it. You know what I'm saying? Not all of it was literally attacks or like, you know what I mean?
Like attacks or like there was no casualties every time, but that's what I'm saying. But just to know that there was more than 200
situations where a gun was produced and fired and people were in public. You know what I mean? So
just so we're clear on that. But it's still crazy though.
Mental health is at all-time high. It's crazy because like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and get into the specifics, but if you go look at some of the stuff this guy was saying on the internet before he did this, he's part of the incel group. If you don't know what incels are, they're a group of men on the internet that they have like a hatred towards women, so they blame women in society for their lack of having a romantic life. He had like a bunch of.
He said what? He's a part of.
It's the whole thing, man. It's the whole thing. One day we'll do an episode talking about all that crap and we'll have somebody who knows explaining it, but. But like I said, incels, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a group of men on the internet, heterosexual males on the internet who, because of their lack of romantic relationships with women, they hate women and they kind of blame women in society for why their lives are the way that they are. And then he was also a part of this group in the government that believes there's some sort of conspiracy going on to replace white people with black people and make America like less white or something like that. So he was part of them too. And again, mental illness.
What kind of Jordan Peele scenario they got going on? What kind of Jordan Peele movie they think we in?
Sure. It's literally some movie stuff. So it's like, he was like tweeting about stuff like that and posting stuff like that on Instagram and posted like a picture with a swastika tattoo and stuff. And he was gunned down at the mall. He didn't live. He's not going to be put on trial. So at this point, I think at this point, it's like literally you can't even feel safe going anywhere in public, especially if you're in, I guess, certain states like Texas or Florida where the gun laws are just so loose. They one of the governors or one of the lawmakers in Texas, after this incident that happened, they approached him again about changing gun laws in Texas specifically or in far right states. And his response was that, shootings happen in liberal states too. So
everybody gets shot every day, B. People get shot every day, B. That's
pretty much what he said. He might as well have said that.
Oh my God.
Said that. People get shot every day, B. So, you know what I mean? It happens.
Oh my
God. That's crazy, man. It's dumbfounding, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to say about the shootings damn near every day. Because you sent me this one. I don't know if they was covering it for 2 days in a row, but I could have swore I seen another one the day after. Like it's like I can't even keep up no more. I don't know which one's which,
Yeah, they're crazy about
where it
that.
happened, and
Yeah, and then there's like some other situation where someone like I forgot where this was, but they drove like a I think this was another race related thing. They drove a car or like a Jeep truck into a bus stop with 8 people. That happened yesterday or the day before as well. I guess we could touch on too. We weren't really gonna talk about this, but I guess we could talk about the Michael Neely. I think that's his name, right? The kid, the guy that died on the subway that got choked out.
oh yeah.
The homeless dude.
we
So
were
yeah,
gonna
so
talk
before we
about
move on to our last well, that was our last subject technically. What do you guys think about that? Because we got like a little extra time. So you guys have any thoughts on that or any emotions? Or let me ask you specifically, what would you have done? I'd assume neither of you would have went as far as murder, but in that situation where you felt threatened or you felt like you were around somebody that might be a threat to themselves or to the other people around you, what would you have done?
So I didn't really watch the full video, but all I seen was him in a headlock. If I felt like I was in danger or a threat, honestly, I can't.
So you want me? I can tell you what the you want to know what the situation was.
Yeah. Go ahead and break down the situation. I don't know it like 100%. I know a little bit of it, and I seen some stuff on Twitter, but you know what I'm saying. I can't really.
Right. So obviously I wasn't there or nothing, but so what the situation, what they say happened is this gentleman, Neely, I think his first name is Michael, but I know he was also a Michael Jackson impersonator. So I feel like maybe I'm just like confusing that with that, you know what I mean? But he was on the subway, and apparently, according to the other people that were riding, he was kind of irate that people, I guess, weren't either giving him money or paying attention to him. And he started to make threats to himself and threats to others, kind of saying that he was willing to hurt people and that he didn't care if he got arrested. He was willing to kill people, kids. He was willing to shoot anybody, that he was going to pull a gun out, all type of weird stuff. And the gentleman who I guess is like an ex-Marine or something like that, I think he's like a 24, 25-year-old guy. I forget his name. He stood up and put him in a headlock. And I guess his headlock went on for a little bit too long because the young man died of suffocation. So a lot of people are a little bit torn about it because they had a lot of protests in the city today. They blocked a bunch of the trains and stuff like that. And a lot of people feel like it was unjust. They feel like, it's completely the fault of the gentleman who is a white gentleman. Neely is black. If that makes a difference to anybody. So with that information, what do you think? Like, how do you feel like you would have handled that? Remember, I don't know. Also, before you say this though, before you give your opinion on that though, anyone who's not familiar with the subway, who has never been on it, it's a subway. It's underground. There's no escape, so to speak, once the car is moving or you're on a subway train that's moving. New York City does not check for weapons. There are no metal detectors. And then no point do they stop random people. Really, you have to be looking really suspicious for them to do that. And again, that it's still frowned upon. They've kind of put an end to it completely. But there's no check for weapons at all. No check for weapons at all. So that's that situation. And again, you're underground. So again, sorry, but go ahead.
All right. So if I'm thinking about that situation there, this is actually a really, really tough situation. I'm kind of like want to see how they deal with it when it comes to legally, you know what I'm saying, if the dude's gonna get any repercussions from it. But it's actually a tough. It's tougher than people are saying. Like I know he do say he killed him he held him too long, 15 minutes or whatever. He dies after dude dies after 3 minutes. He held him in the headlock for 15 minutes. Yeah, I can understand that, right? But just like you said, nobody checks for weapons in the subway, this, that, and the other. It's a subway, but dude's here talking crazy, saying he's gonna kill everybody. In the day and age that we are, and it's crazy. We just came off the topic of mass shootings and mass killings. In the day and age of this, if you hear somebody talking like that, you're gonna do, no matter what, you're probably gonna do whatever comes to your mind if you act on it. You know what I'm saying? So if the Marine decided to act on it, he's not going to go easy on him. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to just let him go because it's a Marine, first of all. He probably been in these situations and, they got PTSD situations and all that. I'm not saying he had PTSD, just saying, that could possibly be a thing in there. But
Right.
I wouldn't expect.
And not for nothing, bro.
Go ahead.
Not sorry to interrupt you, but not for nothing. Like you said, he's a Marine, right? God forbid something had happened, right? And he hadn't done anything. The first thing everybody would have said, why was a Marine standing there and not doing anything?
And
the
not
whole
doing
blame
true.
would have been put on him. The whole
That's
blame
very true.
would have been put on him.
That's
Immediately.
Very true.
And again, we don't know this guy's whole military history, but he could have been in wars. He could have seen things. He could have PTSD. He could have been in countless situations where he had to, it was a life or death, and he had to think quick and act quick. So,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it's yeah.
So, but the on the other hand, yeah, he probably did go a little overboard, and maybe I mean it just depends on really how you judge the situation, man. If he really felt in his head, he probably really felt like dude was a real danger to everybody on the train. He probably, whatever dude was saying, probably like hit him like, yo, this guy really about to sit here and kill everybody on this train. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to kill him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Either something like that. I did see a video of him afterwards. Apparently, like he was trying. He after he let go, him like checking to see, like he let go, checking to see if the dude was alive. Like I think they tried to resuscitate him, whatever it was. So you know what I'm saying? It's a tough situation. It's not one of them easy. This dude's wrong situations. It's not one of them that people should be stopping train tracks for and all that. Like I feel like that just became a fad, like for people to do after a situation like this. But I don't think it's one of those situations.
What do you think became a fad?
People like protesting pretty much. Protesting for situations like these. So I don't think this is a protesting situation.
Got you. Clay, what you think? You somebody who's rode the subway countless times. You was in college. You rode it almost every day. What you think? What would you have done, and how you feel about it?
I mean, I've been in countless situations where not only have, homeless people been on the train and just kind of passing through, talking to themselves. I've been on a train before where similar situation. Homeless guy gets on the train. He sees a bunch of guys on the train. Everybody got they fly whatever on. So he starts judging the book by its cover like, oh, y'all can't give me $1. What's good with y'all? And you honestly have to just ignore them. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, us as New Yorkers, especially metropolitan folk, they don't hold their tongue, especially if you say something that's going to make them want to bark back. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't there. I didn't see the video either. But all I know is, like, unless you poke the bear ain't really going to look your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then again, if I was a situation where I had no choice, I don't know if I'd be the one to step up, man. I don't know. I try to go into the next cart or something. I don't want no business. I don't want to be nowhere near him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, me, I'm just going to try to avoid the situation as much as possible.
Facts. What's up, Danny in the chat?
What up?
Danny Crab. What's up?
Yo.
Yeah, man. Honestly, the same. Like I said, my thing with it is like anybody. If you are someone who is from New York City and you ride the subway every day, whatever, and you feel however you feel about it, fine. You're allowed to have that opinion. Maybe if you, particularly if you feel like nobody is in the wrong except the guy who unfortunately did this murder, maybe you're just a Samaritan that way, and that's how you look at it. But like you stated, you know what I'm saying? Anybody who rides the subway knows, like, let me tell you, like, I've had encounters with homeless people that I couldn't even repeat them to you here on this YouTube thing. That was like so bizarre. For the other day, sitting in Union Square, I'm sitting next to a dude, he's reading his book or whatever. I'm listening to my headphones. I see a homeless dude, and I didn't even realize this man was homeless until after the act was committed. But I see this homeless dude come by, completely lick his finger, put his pinky in his mouth, and put his whole pinky in this dude's ear and wiggle it around in this dude's ear while my man's sitting there reading his book. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
This is the kind of behavior. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of behavior and the things that you know what I'm saying, that these dudes engage in. And that's just the stuff something I can say on here. Okay. With that being said, bro, I've been and I've seen.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Danny.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. And I've seen terrible things. And I've been like, and just as much as I would say the guy shouldn't have took it as far as murdering, he shouldn't have held on, or especially once homie went limp and he wasn't moving or whatever, you should have just let go because obviously he wasn't a threat. But where is the NYPD, man? You get what I'm saying? Like, from my experience with NYPD, even before weed and all this was legal, they was so quick to stop people for anything and everything. And then there's times when it's like stuff is going on and you're like, yo, why are these guys not here? Why was this guy even able to choke this man out for 15 minutes without any kind of intervention from police or an ambulance or some sort of authority figure underground on the subway? That doesn't make sense. That also should fall in NYPD, because
maybe in every
just
subway
as
station,
he was
never on the train.
Never on the train. And when they are on the train, it's like when it's completely not necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And any situation where, think about it, that man was able to lose his life and not get help for 15 minutes. That would have been 15 minutes of hell had that man or anyone had been down there with a gun or a bomb or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a hellhole. You're literally trapped and dying underground. You know what I'm saying? More than likely, not most of your body's not gonna make it up from under there. So with people and that stuff going on, the stuff we're talking about here every day, people shooting, all that, people have that stuff in their mind when they're on their commute. And I think as people, particularly if you live in New York and you pay your New York City tax, which is not cheap at all, if you work a job in New York City, and anyone who works there knows that, I shouldn't have to worry about seeing death on my way to work or from work, or feeling like my life is in a threatening situation by someone.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You can look this up, and I'm not just making up these numbers. New York City just spent over $3.5 billion on a new train system and getting new train subways. They could have used even quarter to a half of that money to get some sort of stable facilities for these homeless people, to give them mental health treatment and get them not to have to be on the subway all the time. They could have got some sort of a better security system for underground, but no, they completely used all of it to make new trains. So with that, all I'm saying is, don't just always blame the person who was in a situation and reacted. Sometimes if we as a society started being more proactive to things and not reactive, they wouldn't even happen. But we're always being reactive.
And I like what Danny said. He said we all deal with the threat of violence at times. Can't kill, though, is how I feel, unless life is in actual danger, not just potential. I hear you, but only thing is,
that's up to you though, because me and EJ might be in the same room, and I might feel like my life is threatened, and he don't. You get what I'm saying? Or he might go react off it because he might not even be scared, but there's 5 young ladies in the room that's like, oh, I'm scared, or even a child in the room. And EJ's like, no, I'm not going to sit here and watch a child be in danger. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's all my point. But that you never know.
I can understand
who you are and what you feel.
I can understand that right there now, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's so tough in this day and age, bro, because of everything that's going on, man. We just spoke about a dude talking on the internet, typing on the internet, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? And he actually went and did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, what if somebody decided to attack him or something like that before he even stepped into the place to do it, because they probably seen the threat? You know what I'm saying? Are we gonna be mad at them for attacking him and possibly killing him because they're like, oh, this dude's gonna go shoot at this mall, I have to go attack him, I gotta kill him? You know what I'm saying? He was a threat. Okay. And he was going there to shoot up the mall.
My argument with it. We are reactive. We don't think about being proactive. Look at the situation you just stated. It was a very good example, right? Say, for example, this dude, like we just said, who shot up the mall yesterday or whatever, someone had interpreted all the stuff that he wrote and seen and saw that he was a real danger and was like, yo, let me go take care of that. Even if they was to go to his house and beat down his door and kill him. And we knew that he was going to do what he did today. Would anybody have a problem with that person that did that? Would anybody go arrest him?
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But then if you know what I'm saying, we cannot always be this way of like, oh, let's wait till something happens, then we gonna see how we feel. The kid was obviously mentally ill. Like we all said, he was mentally ill. He wasn't, I don't think, a real threat. But in today's world, people feel very threatened. And before we get to Clay, real quick, I just want to go to Danny. He said in the Instagram chat, like, potential threats of danger is how they murder Black men, women, and kids, them being police, which is right. You correct. True, but again, true. Danny, I don't know if you live in New York City or not, but this is situational. A situation where a cop claims they feel threatened by a kid who they pull over in a car for a headlight or something like that is complete BS. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Whereas actually being on the subway and seeing someone who is homeless and at their wits' end, they don't have nothing to lose, standing up and making verbal threats. I heard, I don't know if this is true, but someone said he even somewhat swung on a woman in there, or he like put his hand over her. And you could look this up. I've seen videos on the internet of homeless people literally slapping food out of women's hands, hitting children, taking food out of people's hands, completely tripping them, spitting on them. They're not afraid at all to get physical if they're at that point. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's situational. If you're
now
not
that I think
in
about
a certain situation, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that I think about it, if NYPD was on that train and dude was talking crazy like that and he made the wrong move, they was definitely killing him.
Right.
They was gonna kill him as well.
Boom, it would be the same thing. And I've seen that too. I've seen homeless people, the police approach them and then they get more agitated, you know what I'm saying, more crazy. Because again, it's mental health. Some of these guys are on drugs. Some of them are off the drugs that they're usually on, so they're tweaking. They're going through withdrawals. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Right.
You know, trust me, bro. You know, it's a whole lifestyle that if you haven't seen it up front, and you wouldn't even believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But so Clay, what do you think? Do you think do you think that this is something that could be fixed as far as like NYPD? Because it's much like you said, similar to the shooting situation where it's like, what can you really do to prevent it? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, you had a dope idea as far as instead of them investing in the trains and restructuring all of this construction that they've been doing for years on end, why don't you take some of that money and make a facility for all the homeless people to be in there, so we don't got to worry about somebody jumping in front of the train because they got fed up with being homeless. You know what I'm saying? You know how many times I've escaped seeing death because literally like my train's delayed because they said somebody jumped in front of the train at the next stop or the stop before me. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, so they need to do something about it.
There's homeless people, some of them, they literally pushed people, just chilling, pushed them. I seen a video of one, this was a couple months ago, the train station right here in the Bronx, 241st. Clay, I'm sure you know that station. It was late, not even that late at night. A young lady was up there waiting for a train by herself. Homeless guy just comes by with a bag full of his feces, slaps it right in her face.
Jeez.
Homeless man feces all over her, just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? These are the things these people do.
That's ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? And again, I understand you're mentally ill. But if you people are so spontaneous, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild, man.
They're getting that unpredictable. That's wild.
Shout out to Danny, man. Appreciate you, Danny.
Appreciate you, Danny. Much love, buddy.
For real. But yeah, man. So I definitely RIP to Neely, of course, though, because like I said, the young man did not deserve to lose his life. I wish that could have went a whole different way. Before we move on, let's just go with Daddy's question. Is the people want to pay for that? Because it's out of pockets. And look at what welfare and child support did to Black homes. We didn't know it was homeless housing. We'll fix the issue. That's true. But again, as far as I can't talk about everywhere in America, but as far as New York City, we pay taxes. Our taxes come out automatically in New York State in general. Your taxes come right out your job. If you work any kind of job, you paying taxes. If you even don't have a job and you got a little house you own, whatever, you're paying taxes. So that's our money, at least some of it that they used.
I think only two out of three of us have the MetaQuest. We would definitely love to break that.
I was just thinking that would be fire.
Nah, because I seen the content that Danny puts out on. They do the whole podcast on in the metaverse. I think that's pretty dope. I would love to do it.
Okay.
You know, Jay, as soon as you get one, we can get on that.
And that's easy to record. That's easy to record.
Yeah, that would be cool to do. We definitely are looking at that. We're gonna hit you up, Danny, and see what we could do. But yeah, man. So we're gonna keep it moving because, like, you know, it's getting close to 11. I wanted to wrap this up real quick. So before we wrap up today, I kind of wanted to do this thing where we touch on a little new topic a little bit for before we close out. You know what I mean? So one of the things that came up today that I kind of was just thinking about is the topic of kind of like the negative things that we do as a Black community as a whole, or the negative ideals that we have and the things that we participate in that are negative, but we kind of keep it under the rug and we don't, you know what I'm saying, we don't really talk about it, but it's obviously there in the community. For me, one of those things, well, I thought of two things, but I'll talk about one right now. I think is drinking and driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drinking and driving is something that is, to me, is like so serious. I get everybody, you know what I mean, has they, you know, I have my limit. I know that what I could do. I know I could drive or whatever. Um, but bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's a serious thing. And it's one of the things I really hate to see people do, particularly if they really are getting to that point where they're a little, you know, they can't even really understand what's going on or what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And and that, along with the actual physical act of drinking while driving, that's another thing that we as Black people do a lot, that I've seen a lot. And I think it's portrayed, society itself tells us this is something that's wrong all the time. We see it in commercials and PSAs and stuff like that. And all of us knows someone or has someone close to us that is a victim of drinking and driving. And so it's just crazy to me that it's this thing that is still. I saw someone I know today posted a picture on their Instagram with they were in a car, all three cups, the driver, the passenger, and the
That's
back seat,
OD.
all of them had cups full. And I'm just like, dude,
Yeah, that's
that's
ridiculous.
super crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous as hell.
It's ridiculous. And again, we're not trying to, not trying to victimize nobody or like point fingers at nobody, because again, we all have probably done this in our lives, even if we were it was when we were younger or whatever. But Don, what you think? Like, is that something that you often see that you think happens a lot in the Black community, or I'm tripping?
Nah, yeah, I could see that happening a lot, and just like you said, people will be like, yeah, I know my limits or whatever, and maybe it's a party and things like that, and
Right.
still drive. Although I can't necessarily say it's only the Black community, I don't know, but I know it does happen in
It's
the
not
Black
only.
community. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it does happen in the Black community. I'm pretty sure heavy, you know what I'm saying, after the club or whatever, drinking, and they don't really do the designated driver rule probably as much, you know what I'm saying. So I could see that, and drinking and driving is crazy. People, please at least either take a Uber or do the designated driver. But yeah, like, yeah, I could see what you're saying though.
Listen, that's
Right.
why
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why I shout out to my girlfriend. She don't drink, so I don't ever gotta worry about that problem. But
Word.
for real though, man, like yeah, like as far as the whole drinking and driving thing, man, like it's definitely something that is very loose. I mean, now I be seeing people drinking and driving, and they got the hookah busting in the V.
Nah,
It's
that's
like
OD, bro.
how? Yeah,
Drinking and driving
New
is
York.
even crazier when you're actually literally drinking while driving. That's insane. Like, that's
Yeah, that's
insanity,
what I'm
bro.
saying. Like,
That's
Yeah,
and I
insanity.
mean, don't get me wrong, it's still bad. You mean, because technically, if you literally just drank, you and your homegirls or homeboys took 5, 6 shots and you jump right in the V. It's, to me, it's like it's
Yeah.
not really no
a
better
stupid idea.
Nah,
than if
yeah,
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
yeah, but just the fact that
It's-
niggas even just take a drink in the car and be sipping, you know what I'm saying, while
oh
they're
yeah,
driving, bro.
sipping in the car,
yeah.
sipping in the
I
car,
literally seen
sipping
somebody
in the
doing
car.
that yesterday. I was on my way to the city. 'Cause I went to the Mets game yesterday, and literally on my way to the Mets game, some dude sped past me in the Durango, big blunt in his hand, and he was sipping
That's crazy,
Crazy,
bro.
man. On the highway.
on the highway on the spring.
Nice,
That's crazy, bro.
nice, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Like I said, there's a lot of things I think in our community that we just kind of engage in that I'm just like, bro, we really promote that. Because like you said, it's not just the Black community. Obviously, I'm seeing college white kids and stuff drinking and drive all the time. But I feel like it's more Black people that are just like more like they don't care. Like they just promote it. You know what I'm saying? They'll show
Hmm.
it, take pictures of them drinking
word
and driving. It's like not low key at all. You know what I mean? And
at all.
at all is crazy. But bro, everybody be safe out there, man. You
Facts,
know
be
what I
safe,
mean?
man.
Just
Don't
I know
drink and
we
drive.
don't like to look up. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. And sometimes some people you gotta look up stories to scare you. You can look it up. A lot of it happens more than often. It's one of those things that kind of just like school shootings has gotten to the point where it's so frequent, it
Hmm.
just doesn't make big news
Right.
all the time. But
That's true.
drunk driving does happen every day, bro. Every day.
Listen, and here's a
So
tip for y'all weak drinkers. I almost cuss. For y'all weak drinkers, drink a glass of water after every shot or after every drink, and you'll be fine. That's the trick. You know what I'm saying?
Where I don't know.
So
It's been a long while since I took like
tip of the
shots
day.
like that.
Word,
But
tip of the day. Take a glass of water in between every drink.
yeah, man. So that's all I got for tonight. I don't know if y'all want to talk about anything else, but I kind of
we
want to go
good.
watch this Lakers game,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm about to go
feel me?
watch finish the night off watching the Lakers
Just
game.
real quick,
Good.
I do have an interview coming up with a talk show talk podcast. I honestly forgot the name. I would look it up here, but they're a podcast from here in the 845 here in New York where I'm at. So look out for that. I'm not sure if it'll be live, but I'm pretty sure it'll be coming this weekend. I got the interview Thursday, so
Make
look
sure we
out for that.
post the
Interview
flyer
coming
on.
soon.
We'll make sure we post the flyer on the pop-up page. That'll be a little dope
sure.
feature right there. So shout out to that.
For sure. Got some announcements coming, so stay tuned.
Thanks, man. Shout out to everybody on Instagram that was on the Instagram. Shout out to everybody that was on YouTube. We'll be back next week. And man, look out for the summer, man. We're trying to do a lot of big things. We're gonna keep it pushing. Hopefully, we can get like a little live show or like a little opening press party, promo party going. We're trying to get that figured out.
Facts.
Yeah, man. But anybody also, if anybody want to collab, anybody trying to, whatever you want to do, we always trying to collab and find people to link with and have on the show or whatever. So don't be afraid to hit us up.
And the
Word.
Instagram portion was smooth, so I can see us doing this more often.
Word. So we'll probably do that more often. Right. All right, y'all.
Peace.